Yes, YouTube, we've finally got a sofa. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining. And today we are going to be doing a pull day. I just thought I'd do the sofa angle because it's different to me. Stood at the kitchen countertop, and I've only lived here 3 months to get a sofa, which is nice. But the ordeal was after 9 weeks being late? 9, or it was a long time anyway. I finally brought it, and it was brown. It brought me a brown fucking sofa. I didn't order a brown sofa. I ordered a beige sofa, and then they didn't have a beige sofa that I needed, which was like this but a tiny bit darker, so I just settled with this one, and we're finally there. So I've got somewhere to sit. Not that I've sat on it. I've had it 2 weeks now, and I've sat on it. This is like the 3rd time I've been on it right now, but it's all right actually, so we'll take it just in case I ever need to sit down. So today we're going to go in for a pull session, which is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be the first time I'm doing this session, which I will explain why when we get to the gym. And then I got some blood work back last week, so we'll go over that just for anyone who wants to see how to review blood work. There's a couple of things on there which may catch people out in terms of, you know, them seeing some levels are like fucking panicking or whatever. Again, so I'll go over why my markers why my markers are, some things that we're doing or we're implementing to help with some of that. And again, if you're just somebody who wants to review your own blood work, or you're a coach who wants to expand the knowledge a little bit, you know, these sort of things may help. So I think that's going to be a pretty good thing to go over. So the time is 9 a.m. Got a decent chunk of work boxed off this morning as well. So we're going to get the pre-workout meal, which you've not seen, have you? You've not seen that yet. Not on a training day anyway. Well, you've seen it, but not on a training day. So we'll probably do that next time, a full day of eating or whatever. And then I will see you in the gym where I'll explain why we're doing some fluffy shit. But it's a necessary evil, I suppose. And yeah, we'll just go there, see what the crack is, and get into the session. We've made it to the gym. I didn't film any of the fluffy rehab stuff at the beginning because I thought to myself, rather than just doing a bit of a montage of it, I will go into depth with why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm sorry if the camera's a little bit off centre. I'm not very good at this, but I'll get used to it, as I keep saying. So our session today is, like I said, from Baxter I've been working with. And the first exercise is this citadel. Now normally I just load everything from the top peg only, which means it's going to be very, very heavy in the length end and then get easier in the short. So the way that he's got me programmed to do it is doing it heavier in the short to begin with. I usually shy away from that because when I get to this position, which means it's going to be light here and heavy as we come down. Now that's usually what hurts my tendonitis. So usually when my tendonitis would be locking in, that's when it gets lighter and I can contract from my back. His notion is that essentially my rib cage is really, really stuck. So which means everything I'm flaring like this. When I'm flaring like this, what I'm doing is I'm not keeping stability through here. So essentially with this, I want to be able to keep stability through my rib cage, which means as it gets heavier here, I can keep my rib cage locked to get a contraction, because obviously all we're looking for here is tension, like mechanical tension. If it's coming off here, then it allows my rib cage to flare, not get as much tension through the muscle. So that's going to be the key sort of takeaway from this session in terms of everything that we're doing and where we're loading it. But I'll explain why I'm doing what I'm doing. with everything. Essentially with this Citadel, it's a fantastic machine, probably one of the best back machines you'll ever use. And what I'm looking at doing is, as you've probably heard 1,000 times before, is I'm looking at bringing it down and in. In my mind, that's my motion. I'm going down and in, out and up. So it's not a straight pull, it's round. And then from this position here, as it comes round and I'm coming back out, then I'm not letting my scapula move. I'm keeping it quite stable all the way through with this lat focus exercise. One thing people will do, and they think you're training your lat and you're actually not, is even if you just put your hand by your side and you try and crunch on your oblique, it feels like you're doing lat. So what people are doing is they're leaning and they're crunching. As you come in, you crunch. Literally, you could do that without even moving your arm. It still feels the same. What you need to be doing is you need to keep your rib cage up and forward. Your torso wants to stay as solid as possible. If you look at someone who's really good at training like Kuba, he doesn't move. His torso doesn't move. So his torso stays like this. Your rib cage stays forward, and you can lean once your rib cage is forward, but you don't want to lean your rib cage this way because then you're just crunching. So keeping everything straight, and almost again as you're coming down and in, out and up, you're almost also thinking about doing this. So as I'm coming down, I'm doing this, I'm keeping my elbow straight, but as I get to the end, I'm tucking my elbow behind. So down and in and tuck behind, out and up, and keeping everything solid. Even though we are leaning, my rib cage is here. It's not here crunching. And that's what will make you really, really weak. It'll feel like you're pulling with nothing, because that's what's pulling then your back, and you're not just crunching down with the rest of your body. That's why you'll find that you may get a really good contraction with your lat that is here, unless you're feeling it almost like off your spine around the back of your back, then you're not really contracting lat forcefully and fully, or that part's not getting tension. So that's something to think about. And I'll go through I'll probably just film one working set per exercise, so this video's not too long, so I'll probably give you some spiel in between. I'll probably do the first working set on this. It's not going to be a hell of a lot of weight at all. Again, just going to try and find the contraction first, and then just build up on this on here throughout the weeks, really. So talking through the cues as I'm coming in, straight away what I'm thinking about doing is just everything wants to be pointing forward. Everything's here. Rib cage is depressed, and then from there I can move. I'm going to move myself slightly to the right hand side of the machine, so I'm not pulling away too far, and I can still keep the line of the arm. I'm not using straps. And then air out, back tall. Like I said, bearing in mind I've not got 5 plates on that, and the temptation to lean and pull is so fucking big. It's like you almost want to lean away from it, and you're going to be very, very weak in that position. People shy away from where they're weak. You're weak there for a reason, because you don't have the musculature to move it. So find where you're weak, ask the questions. Especially if it's a weak body part, you're really strong in one position. You're not seeing the musculature being built from that. There is a reason. It's really typically ranges you can't get to. So for me here, rib cage is flared and I'm crunching, so I'm not getting a lot of that lower lat. Whereas here now my rib cage is more stable. It's depressed, it's not moving. I can get my elbow back and round here, and I'm feeling that right at the back of my back, or as lower as I can feel, not in this insertion but near the spine. Anyone can feel it in their insertion there, but near the spine is really important, and that's where you're going to get more growth. Essentially, regardless if it's 5 plates or 30 kilos, that part of my lat is now receiving 30 kilos of tension where it previously hasn't, which means we're going to get a response and an adaptation. So that's the first exercise. I've got 2 more sets of this. Obviously I've got the left arm to do, but I'll just crack on and then we'll catch the next exercise. So that is going to be extreme melting. Okay, so exercise 2, which is technically exercise 4 for me. I did rope crunch for abs and some side bendy things, which is what backs to, again, to open my rib cage. So essentially what's going on, I had this sort of like diagnosis, if you like, years and years ago from Chris Knott, and I'm a bodybuilder. I'm just like, I can work around that, you know, it's not going to affect me. I can find another way to put tension through the muscle, etc, etc. There's, you know, more than one way to skin a cat. And actually that issue has led to more downstream issues, which now is just unmanageable. I've been training at like 70%, like in terms of the lows that I can move and things like that, and it's not building the amount of muscle that I wanted to build. And you know, I've tried other things, but this is essentially what's going on. So my ankle, which you can't see, is really, really stiff from a football injury years ago, which means that when I walk with this foot out. So I walk like a little, like this a little bit. So this foot's forward, my right foot's pointing out, which puts me on the side like this. And because I've been like this, like, you can't see if you look at me, but technically that's how I've been supporting my body. And so when I've been pressing also, I've been like this. This rib cage flares out, this one stays down. So this is what's going on. So when I'm pressing, this has been not really receiving much. Basically I'm pressing like this, so then I'm overcompensating by trying to bring my front delt round and pressing. And then what's happened is my clavicle doesn't move right. My scapula tilts up as I'm doing that position. And then that leaves me with impingement because all this capsule then gets closed, and then it gets tendonitis as well because my wrist doesn't move, my elbow doesn't move properly, and everything just, you know, goes into one big clusterfuck. Hence the reason why my legs get no injuries, and I could put fucking 2 inches on them over the next 2 months if I wanted to. I'm pretty confident, just because I can train in my full capacity. So I sent an assessment to Baxter, and he basically said the same thing as what Chris said, you know, without even knowing, which was confidence to me to be like, right, okay, this is something I really need to do. So essentially it's like when I'm lifting and I'm flaring my ribs, what I need to be doing is getting this rib down and in. I want to be in this position. And the way that I think of it in my head is like if you've got an action man where you pull him apart, on his legs he's got that, like a little block that you push into his stomach to put him back together in. Essentially my ribs are that block, and I can't move this is solid, whereas everything else around it can move. But as long as my rib cage doesn't flare when I'm moving and pressing like this, so everything's got to be down and locked, and then boom, like this. Same with pulling. We're going to be loading the bottom pec here from the first set, and then coming up again, simply because if it's going to get easier here, then I'm going to have more propensity to rise like this, whereas the heavier it gets, I need to bury my ribs and then press in, which is then going to get tension to where it previously wouldn't. Now, the downside of this is I have to lower the weight significantly to what I've been doing, but again, like I previously just said there, the plus side is it's all about tension. Like if you've got a body part that is not responding, so in the last 6 months, if you've got small arms, if you've got small legs, if you've got a small back, whatever, and you've had other body parts that have come up, so let's say your delts have grown really well, but your arms haven't, it's nothing to do with your coach's programming, it's nothing to do with the drugs you're taking, it's nothing to do with the food that you do, it's all to do with you can't get tension on that area. And unless you address that, it's going to be small forever, because you're going to move in the same plane, your body's going to move in the same plane. So if you're doing biceps constantly like this, and you don't sort out why, and you can get in this position, they're never going to grow. You can try everything. It's like, oh, I need more drugs, or I need this. There's literally no substitute for just getting your body moving properly and getting in the areas. And it's shit, and I hate it, and I've avoided it for fucking years. But maybe I'm getting a little bit older and a little bit more wiser, or just fucking more tired. And now it's time to just not change things up, but whilst I'm in this prep, if I carry on going down like I'm going, it's fine, my physique will look good, but I just won't have the areas where I'm not getting attention to will drop off. chest, lower back, and arms, because I can't train my arms to do tendonitis properly. So you know, it's a now or never sort of thing. Right, that's my life story anyway. So I'm going to get into this again. I'll do the first working set. I'm going to have a look at how it feels from the bottom, because again, tendonitis usually gets me, and then basically we'll do that. The sets there, the other 2 sets I did felt pretty good. My back feels, you know, from the middle of my back out in the lat feels really good. So that's something positive for the start of the session. So let's see how this feels, and hopefully we can shift some weight without any tendonitis getting involved. Right, let's give this a go then. It feels weird as fuck. So what I'm doing, I'm making sure I'm stable on the pad here. Then rib cage, set my rib cage down. But then when my rib cage is down, I'm trying to make myself long at the same time. And then essentially, rather than come in like this, I need to be tucked here, long, and keep in that position here. It feels like I'm rowing like somebody who can't row. If you see somebody row for the first time who's never been to the gym, that's what it feels like I'm doing. So I'll be interested to see what I look like on the video after. I'm going to get this thing, get heavier in the short, making sure that I'm nice and square. Air out, rib cage set. I'm making myself as long as I can. I can definitely fucking feel it. Look at the fuck how it looks. That felt pretty good. Right. So then it's going to be middle and bottom, and then all in the middle, and then I'll catch you at the next exercise. Didn't feel too bad. I felt good in the first sets. Same with the Citadel, it feels good, but it's very light. So it allows me to be able to get contraction on the lat where I need to. So it's like I almost feel a set, like, right, okay, that feels like that. Now as I get heavier, it needs to still feel like that as I get heavier. And that's again another thing that I think I've touched on before. If your warm-up sets feel really good on that muscle, and all of a sudden you go into work and saying it doesn't, you'll get people saying you don't need to feel it. Like, yes, if you're fucking 5 foot and your arms are that long, I say that all the time as well. But if you're slightly tall, you've got long limb lengths, it's really important that we're still feeling muscle. So actually the second and third set there felt really good with a little bit heavy weight on. I've got like 3 plates in the middle, which again, doing a neutral grip on there is not super heavy, but it's heavy enough. I was happy that I could keep my rib cage where it is. It just feels so fucking weird. It feels just like you're proper, just like, because I don't have the mobility in my body to be able to come up from my ribs, it feels like I'm proper hunched over and trying to keep my back up. But these are the things that I need to learn how to do. And your body wants to be balanced. Your body wants to be, it doesn't want to be skew-if and twisted and fucked up and compensating for something that may have happened years ago that you didn't realise has put you into a bad position. Literally one of my clients, Gerald there, who's been having a look at his pendulum squat, he was showing me, I was like, straight away I can see his hips are twisted to fuck. Like, regardless of what we do, if we put him on hack squat or pendulum squat, his legs just aren't going to grow because he can't get in position to get tension through him in the length end. He just can't do it. So he, again, he's going to have to go and see somebody to fix that. Otherwise, we're just, you know, flogging a dead horse, if you like. So this is assisted pull-ups. Assisted pull-ups because I can't do a pull-up. number one through tendonitis anyway. I just couldn't do it, but this again allows me to be able to target the muscle in that area. The reason why I don't use straps is because I think that's something that is giving me tendonitis. You're pulling through here like this. With a strap, I'm almost pulling through here. So when I do my warm-ups, it feels really good. Then when I put a heavy load on and I start pulling through here with the strap, I think that's what's creating the issue in here. So I've just taken that out. Ideal time now, because obviously my loads are a lot lighter. So it allows me to be able to just try and build that up without the strap, and then potentially a strap that I would use is like a Versa grip, so it's coming over and I'm pulling from over the top rather than from a wrist wrap strap style, and I'm pulling from there. So we'll crack up. This is just 2 sets. All the rep ranges here are like between 10 and 12, 10 to 15. Again, higher rep ranges. My sets, rather than doing 2 sets on the others, have been 3 like I've mentioned. Again, so just condensing movements down to not putting unnecessary movements in there. Like, you know, if we've got a row in there, we only need one row, or depending where I'm hitting that row, for example, you know, 1 neutral grip, 1 overhand grip. So we'll crack on with these. I've not done these in a while, but these, I generally used to do them in the beginning of a session or at the end, just to get some blood in the back, and they do feel really good. So this is 2 sets of 10 to 15. I'll put like fucking loads of weight on and just make sure I can contract. Slight hold in the short at the beginning, and then obviously just rinse it where I can. But so far, you know, although the session is, you know, not the fucking brutal all-out buddy session that we like to have, it's actually been quite productive in terms of, you know, where I can feel my back. You know, feeling it in areas with tension that I haven't previously felt it in a long time, and it's like, I remember that feeling. Actually, that was when I was fucking okay and not fucking twisted up like a quaver. Right, we'll crack on. Still got it. Maybe not. Same principle as I'm hanging down. I'm not just stretching, I'm tucking. Felt okay. So that's all the back stuff done. 1 set of T-bar row, which I'm still not keen on. I still can't get that. I still feel really twisted when I do it, so I just did the best I could there. It felt okay, but I'll speak to Max about, you know, what my issues there, why I feel so twisted, even with my hips. Sorry, my rib cage as locked as possible there. Really restricting my range of motion as well, because again, I just don't have the flexibility to get up and to go back. And then a Kelso shrug, so 1 T-bar, 1 Kelso shrug. Back feels okay, back feels good. Neurologically, it's quite fucking knackering because I'm trying to keep everything completely straight and just doing things so out of the ordinary. But we've got 2 bicep exercises to finish. Dumbbell concentration curl just coming across, and then a cable, a single arm cable just sort of behind me, which I don't think I'll be able to do with my tendonitis, but I'll give something else a go. Maybe it's like a high cable pull or something like that. So just 2 bicep exercises, 2 sets, I think. 2 sets on each. Yeah, 2 sets of 10 to 15, and essentially just with this, like Arnold style. Lengthen, you cross here, foot pressure on this leg, and then curl and squeeze. Make sure that you keep this leg like pushed in and don't let it come out as you pull, as you curl, sorry. So I'll have a little bit more of a play about with them. I'll do a couple more sets of working on them, get them a little bit warmer, and then do the last dumbbell exercise, bicep exercise, fucking hell. And then that's it. I'll do a bit of hanging. You may have seen I actually reduce the straps on the Kelso shrug because that's different. I'm not pulling from my elbow. I'm just straight arm and I can pull. Just stops my grip from going after so many reps. But that's the session. A little bit, like I said, a little bit fluffy, not a great deal going on like from the outside looking in. A lot internally for me there. But like I said, it is important that I do it again. I could say, right, I'll wait till prep's over and then do it when I start to get into off season. But if I do it now and I'm getting stimulus across the muscles, I'm going to keep that prep is I literally just need to keep the muscle built, that's it. And that's meaning like me getting tension across it. If I stop getting tension across the muscles, as I get lighter, as I try to overcompensate because I don't have the stability, even less stability than I do when I'm 30, 40 pounds lighter, that's where the muscle's going to disappear as well. So doing it now, and then when I do come to my off season, I'm ready and fucking perfectly balanced, aligned, and an injury-free machine where I can just crack on and start getting massive. But that's a long way away. Yeah, we've still got shit to do. Still got to get shredded and present a physique on stage as well, which I'm really fucking looking forward to. So I'll catch you back at the bungalow where we'll just go over my blood work and tell you why my fucking liver isn't been melted and what's going on there. Yes, so we're back. Oh, hang on. Let's just sort that out. I need to get my head in. There we go. So back, work done, post done. And yeah, like I've actually just, Baxter now, he's just messaging me back with some of the cues from my push session yesterday, so I'll look at them in a sec. But we're going to go over some blood work. I'm not going to go massively into depth. I'm just going to go over the markers that were out. Everything else that I don't mention is all fine. So the things that are all fine are my cholesterol. My cholesterol panel is always very good. LDL is my LDL is 1.8, 1.84 actually, which is always the case. Triglycerides are perfect. My cholesterol total, non-HDL, and this is done on after at 5 p.m. at night as well. My HDL is in range. Again, it just goes to show that it's a genetic thing. I've reviewed thousands of blood works over the years, and the people who are always going to struggle with keeping high HDL they're always going to struggle regardless of what they do. We can put so many different measures in and we might see them points creep up, but ultimately as soon as they start taking certain anabolics or anabolics in general, that just comes straight back down. So it's about managing that the best that we can. My diabetes panel is fine, so my HbA1c is 36, so it is creeping up there, but again, it is at the end of an off season. I would like that in the low 30s ideally for most people, so that's nothing that I'm concerned about. So full blood count, a couple of reds here, which was my, it was just one red actually. Where are we? My MCH, my mean cell hemoglobin, which was 32.9. The recommended level goes up to 32. So I'm literally 0.9 out there. Again, menial. This scale can, if I had the test the day after, this could be in range essentially, so it's not something I'm worried about. Again, potentially a little bit of dehydration playing a part there, which can move that, but again, all my other markers there, hemoglobin panel are good. My hemoglobin itself 149, hematocrit there at 0.447, so everything's in a really good range. Again, genetic it is. I run EQ at over a gram at 1250 for a good couple of months and it doesn't move. Again, this is a genetic thing that I can get away with. If I couldn't get away with it, I wouldn't have been running the cycles I have done in the past, that's for sure. Or maybe I would have done, I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm not, but yeah, I probably would have done. That's a lie. And then, so hormones obviously are going to be out of whack. Free androgen index is 886. SHBG is 3, so fucking a lot of free testosterone to mop up there. All the usual things. My E2 is well in range at 88 actually, and everything else is pretty standard there. So that's one thing that I was surprised at. My E2 typically I feel better when it's higher, so it did make sense for it to be lower to me, just in how I was feeling in general. Inflammation, so CRP, all fine. Iron, fine. So the things that are going to come up here, and the things I want to really touch on the most, are the kidney function, the liver function, the liver score, and the muscle and bone. So I'll start with the muscle and bone first, because it cascades from there. Muscle and bone, calcium is fine. I believe it or not, the amount of calcium I take a day, like 4.5 grams. I take a lot of calcium, like you've seen. I'm only just into the range there at 2.4, well, halfway into the range, let's say. So I was surprised at that it wasn't going to be slightly higher. Again, if a score is old, your calcium score can be higher as a false reading. So that's something to be aware of if your test doesn't manage to get into lab quite soon. So my CK, so my creatine kinase, is 9,330. This is on a rest day, on a Wednesday, after a push and pull session. Now, CK is basically an enzyme that's released into the blood once we break muscle tissue down. That muscle fibers break, and then that releases the enzyme CK. So this is basically telling me how much breakdown I've got in my blood in a very, very simple manner. 9,330 when the recommended level is 320. So this is a massive amount of breakdown, which again for me is completely normal. I'm always between usually 3,000 and 8,000. So 9,000 is typically high, although, you know, the sessions that I've had previously, you've seen my training today, is definitely not fucking blood and guts shit. So this is, you know, was a surprise to me that it was that high. Obviously, if I'd have rested a little bit longer, it would have been lower. So that's within that panel there, which then brings me on to my liver score. So my liver function. So everything's fine, and then my AST and my ALT is high. So my ALT is 180 when the recommended is 56. So when it's called a liver panel, for example, or liver function panel, this is what throws people off. So all of a sudden you see that your ALT, you know, AST, all these things are high, and people think, oh, my liver is struggling, and it's got nothing to do with that. ALT, AST are basically also enzymes from skeletal muscle as well, which are going to be elevated from inflammation. So we've seen that my CK is sky high through training, which then creates a lot of inflammation within, you know, skeletal muscle being releasing the enzyme ALT as well, and then that's going to push that score up. So when you see a CK that is lower or in range, or, you know, 1,000, a couple of thousand, then you have higher ALT alongside that, anything like that, then that's a little bit more of a concern. If you have a CK score through the roof, then this is gonna protrude itself onto your ALT. So 180, again, it does mean that there is inflammation present. That's from training. So does that mean it's an accumulation of inflammation over a period of time, and do we need more rest, or essentially manage that inflammation better? So the steps that we've put in place there are just increasing the omega-3 slightly. Again, an anti-inflammatory, really, really good anti-inflammatory. Started taking the hepatic from Engineered Muscle, from Riz. That's a very, very good product, liver product, again, to get them enzymes and that inflammation down. And I've booked it in with the blood clinic. I haven't booked it. I've got it on my notes to book in today. So I will, by the time you've seen this, I would have booked in and had a glutathione drip, a glutathione push from Rich at the blood clinic. So, you know, I'm hoping to get that within, you know, the next few days, and it's something that I will do in prep, probably every 4 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, depending on what my blood work says. Again, like I said, I'm going to be going there quite regular. And then the liver score that comes back, which is like your fibrosis score or your FIB4 score, is 1.66. So that's higher than the less than 1.45 average. But this again is a calculation of ALT, etc. So this is always going to be lower because my ALT, AST are already high. So that's going to be suspected, and that is the same also with kidney function. So kidney function is down. My urea is slightly elevated, again, which is to be expected with higher protein diets, higher muscle mass breakdown, etc. Same with creatinine, that's 119. And then alongside that, your EGFR, again, which is an estimated, the E stands for estimated, goes off these things, and that calculation means that mine is 67. Now, typically my EGFR is always bottomed out between, as low as 50, 52, I think it was, but then I generally follow it with a statin C test, and that comes back that my kidneys are absolutely fine. So this is just something I'm used to seeing. Again, when you see your own blood work multiple times, it is just a recurring pattern. The extra steps I've taken in the past just to make sure things are fine, come back, yeah, that's fine. It's basically just the calculation that's thrown off because of, again, the amount of muscle mass you have, etc., the amount of muscle breakdown, things like that, protein being turned over. And essentially with the enzymes and things like that are being elevated in the blood, basically the word for it, the saying for it is, or the term for it is, exercise induced no, it's gone. Exercise induced enzyme elevation, right? That's what exercise induced enzyme elevation, that's a mouthful. Basically, when we're seeing things within AST, ALT, that is being, the enzymes are elevated through exercise or breakdown, that's that. And the same goes for creatinine and urea, essentially, with the breakdown of protein. Obviously, that's not exercise induced, that's for the liver, but for the kidney, it's the same sort of thing, just with the things that we do. And sorry, that was a fucking long old explanation for nothing. And then I think that was everything that was out, to be fair, big dogs. Prostate fine, thyroid absolutely buzzing, nothing wrong with that. Vitamins, folate's fine. Oh, vitamin D was 92. Was 92. So that was slightly out, but again, nothing too concerning with that. And vitamin B12 is fine. So again, a really good panel there from me. Again, the things that are slightly out has been what's the word? Debunked. One thing that I am looking to do is go and get and I think actually I was speaking to Rich again at the blood clinic. Fucking, my mind's gone blank after training. Heart scan. You'll know what I mean. The fucking abbreviation for it. Anyway, I would like to do one of them a year from now. The last one I got was 2 years ago, which was fine. Obviously, just your usual bodybuilder heart, nothing concerned there. But it just makes sense just to keep checking that now. I am not getting any younger. So that is it for today. Hopefully, I got the pictures of all my blood work here. That's why I sat at this side. And I'm going to have my meal, cook my meal now, and then I'm going to go back to the desk, finish the plans for the lads, and all check-ins are done. Bar actually a couple of Americans that I've checked in just recently, so I can get them done. And that is that. And then next time I think we'll do a full day of eating on a training day. I've got my check-in in the morning with Nath, and I can imagine that my food's going to get dropped. A little bit of a look and a pause after the session. And yeah, fine, decent, in a decent position, quite happy with where I'm at. Just need to now to get some body fat down and start to get that midsection sort of turning things over and starting to get a little bit less off-season bulk and more competition prep, slimline. But guys, thank you for tuning in, and also before I forget, thank you for the support as well. Some great comments for me on the last video, which makes me want to do this more. Sometimes I feel like I'm just spitting shit out into the abyss and talking to nobody. And actually, when people start interacting with me, not only through comments but messaging me as well, it's really nice. And people that have previously watched the YouTube channel before coming back and really enjoying them and asking for more is very motivating for me to do, because I do like to do it. It just feels like it's a lot of effort for me to try and get this done. And I know I whinge about it all the time, but it's a lot of effort to try and get everything in. But as it is right now, like I mentioned, I think in the first sort of episode, if you like, everyone's killing it with the team and coach, and it's a real joy, and it doesn't feel like a stressful thing at all, like it maybe has done in the past. And that is everything from Me, new low weight this morning as well, 257. So if I'm looking skinny, that is why. Probably got another, I think, 25 pound to pull off, which will be what, 232, and then fill up to probably like 238, something like that, close to 240 on stage, which I'll be happy with, like I said. So we will see. But next time, more of an update. We'll get to the point soon where I start doing physique updates as well. Just at the minute, I don't even like looking at myself, and that's just a body dysmorphia thing. My body dysmorphia has been quite bad at the minute, actually, just for no particular reason apart from, I think, after a long off season and, you know, starting to see that fat and flat stage coming in, and, you know, you're wondering, you know, am I still good at this, etc., which is completely normal. And then you see some pictures from, you know, previous preps, and you're like, right, okay, I'm fucking a lot bigger than that now, so surely that's going to look much better. But once things start to move and I start to look like a little bit more of a classic physique athlete, instead of a sort of hybrid open bodybuilder, then I'll start to show you some shit. But until then, we'll have to be patient. Anyway, thank you very much again, guys, for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.